Do you see the single slide?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. It's my honor to be the one who talks about global business and economic trends that can impact us here at home. Just give you kind of a, if I can get this to go. Normally, in the last year or so, I've been kind of the voice of gloom and doom, but there are actually some things positively happening in the world today. In not so much in political, but in economic and business trends. And so today we're going to see what some of those are. They're just slight little things like spring breaking out. It's not summer yet, and we're not at a situation where we're going to necessarily avoid a recession. But there are some things happening in other countries that are positive. This is what's called the global risk chart, and it's put out once a year. It just came out. If you look from the bottom left, it's lower share of respondents thinking one of these things is a problem, and less impact over to the right, more impact and more respondents. I've done very poor drawing here with this line to show you that with in global risk among 1,000, or I think it was 1,192 people, they said that energy crisis, cost of living, and rising inflation were the most likely to have the strongest impact in 2023. That's not surprising, as it says here. Many of the risk in the top right quadrant are exacerbated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But let's take a look at the next chart. This one is one of my favorites. Eurozone, which is the European Union countries that have the euro as their currency, are starting to see a change in activity, business activity that's positive. In manufacturing, which is blue, services, which is kind of red, and composite, which is kind of blue, you'll see that from the fourth quarter into January, things began to rise. Let me go back to this chart. And notice that QR at the code down here at the bottom. When you get the slide deck as a PDF from Alinea, you'll be able to click on that and go to the Global Risk website, which I recommend strongly. It's free, and you can see an awful lot of the detail. I meant to mention that I used a QR code. So we're seeing a turnaround in the Eurozone, which is very positive. You notice how it was here. It was going up until February of 22, and you know what happened in February 22. And then it's been going down until the fourth quarter, and now coming back up again. This is from The Economist. Growth in GDP. Fourth quarter 2019 was 100, so you can see that we're up slightly. Whereas the Germany is coming back stronger, and UK. So that's positive news. As Economist says, plodding but not plunging. So that's good. Here's a really good one: global gas prices. Now, this has nothing to do with your gas, the price of gas in your tank here in the United States. This is natural gas futures. U.S. natural gas futures, European in red and Asian in blue. But the bottom line is that they started to stabilize in the fourth quarter, and now they're coming down. And part of it is the fact that Europe is having a very mild winter. In fact, most of the ski resorts don't even have any snow. Again, this has nothing to do with the price of gasoline in your car. I don't know if any of you read the Wall Street Journal, but there was an article last weekend in the Weekend Wall Street Journal about the $1.23 per gallon bonus that those of us in California have over the rest of the United States. I'll leave that where it is. Bonus is not a really nice word. And here we have a very interesting chart for those of us that watch supply chain. The cost of a container. Cost of a container was about $2,500 from Shanghai to Port of Long Beach or Port of LA back in 2020. COVID came along, it went up, and it reached a point of average about 11,000. So 4 times the cost. In some cases, it went more than that. And this is the Baltic Index, which is a global container index. But notice what's happened. It's now back down to about where it was pre-COVID. And that's good for the companies that are shipping because that's their built-in cost. Now, not everything is good everywhere. This is from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. And they have a series of political, economic, and business indicators that they manage and monitor on a monthly basis. And you can see here that some countries are seeing a rise in the indicators, and some countries are seeing a decline in the indicators. So it's not an overall positive, but it's more positive, frankly, than I've seen it in the last year, from the time that the Russians invaded Ukraine until now. Things have been trending down as far as GDP growth and up as far as cost, and now that's starting to change. And then, of course, I have my cartoon, or well, I'm not quite the cartoon, I'm sorry. China's GDP growth. The estimated growth for 2023 is about 5%. It was about 3% in 22. China's opening back up again very fast. And this is good for our economy because they will start buying things again and shipping things again. It will help the economy overall. It may not help inflation, but it will help the economy overall. And again, you can see that if you monitor China as I do, I read 3 China newsletters a day. You know that they're coming out of COVID very fast. They're in their Chinese New Year right now. Happy Year of the Rabbit to everybody, and whatever that means. But as they come out of the Chinese New Year, we're beginning to see restaurants full again, malls full again, people spending money. The estimate is that 80% of the population in Beijing has had at least a mild case of COVID. And they're now past it and they're back in the restaurants and the stores, which is good for their economy. And then last but not least is my cartoon. I'm always looking at supply chain cartoons. And this one says, after 39 years, 11 months, 28 days, Moses finally got his GPS system he ordered from Amazon. Nobody thinks that's funny. Okay, well, he was trying to lead his people out of Egypt. Okay, guys and girls. And so it's a joke. All right. But anyway, it's a supply chain issue. Okay. And so I thought that was funny, and nobody seemed to think it was funny. But anyway, that's my list. I'm more positive today than I've been since February 24th, 2022. With what I see around the world, it is a mixed bag, but there are signs of improvement in many parts of the world.